Allison Hodge. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist in Southern California. We're a month into the Safer in Place orders in California, and it recently got extended. This is a tutorial to help therapists understand how to set up virtual play therapy sessions and what you can do in the play therapy sessions, as well as for parents to understand the process of how virtual play therapy works. I hope you are all staying safer in place, taking care of yourselves and your mental health as well. Therapists are considered essential workers, which means they can work during the quarantine. However, many therapists have chosen to contribute to slowing the spread of this nasty virus by doing virtual sessions. So today I am here to help therapists who want to provide telehealth services to children and adolescents with some practical tools, tips, and guides on how to provide those services. The first decision is to decide which platform you want to use. FaceTime, Zoom. If you are not a HIPAA compliant facility, California has waived the restrictions regarding providing telehealth services, and many insurances are also reimbursing for that at this time. I have encouraged my clients to check with their insurance companies so that they can find out if their services are covered, and they can feel confident in switching platforms from in-person sessions to virtual sessions. Most children have used FaceTime with their friends, they've used Zoom for school, and parents even have had to become familiar with using the iPad, the computer, the iPhone for communication. So we are all in the same boat together with learning how to use these options for us at this time. You may have already decided and been using virtual sessions in your practice, or experimented with some different platforms and decided what's right for you. I hope to offer some additional considerations and tools for you in this video. Everything in our client's life has changed. School's ended, they're not socializing with their friends, parents are working from home as well as being their homeschool educator. They are with their siblings all day long. Everything has changed for them. I am a non-directive psychodynamic play therapist. Therefore, I let the child lead in the session, and I provide reflections in order to give containment to the child. The first consideration is the child's age. For children who are under 10, young children, I make the decision with the parents of how we're going to set up the therapy. For containment, I have recommended that the child be in their room only and not be able to leave their room for at least the first month of sessions until we reestablish some containment for them. And in their room, they can have the iPad, which they all know how to use, and we do sessions. I have chosen to come into my office, into the play therapy room that they are familiar with, the toys they're used to seeing, so that we can virtually play some interactive games as well as do things we would do in the office. In addition to this, they can show me all the special things in their room. And this is a whole new level of them being able to share their own life with me. I've done some psychoeducation with parents of how important it is for there to be freedom for the child to focus, because focus is a challenge when you're not in person. It's harder to do it virtually. I have been very firm in maintaining that those boundaries be protected, that they be in their room, they be uninterrupted, that siblings be managed by the parents so that there's no interruptions, even with distractions with loud noises or playing outside of their room. So for younger children, I make the decision with the parents and we set up what the session is going to look like. I encourage them to talk to the child, explain to the child that this is how we're going to be doing therapy right now, and what the special opportunities are for the child, as well as to listen to how they feel about it. For children who are older, 10 to 12, and older, I have given them the choice. Do they want to do a virtual session where we see each other, or would they prefer a phone session? And I found some of the older children have wanted to do phone sessions. Even some of my teenagers have wanted to do phone sessions because they're tired of seeing themselves on the screen. I've also encouraged parents to do a test run, to set up the iPad where the child wants it, so that the child can be free in their room if they want to show me things. And they also can pick up the iPad and take it into a certain area of their room if they want to show me something specific, but to do a test run with their child, just like I'm doing in my office. I've experimented where the best angle is for the child to see what they usually see. And I've even adjusted in terms of what toys and games that client specifically goes for, to angle the camera in that way. The last thing to consider is to be flexible as well as consistent. The balance of those two provisions for our clients establishes containment. Let there be a dialogue. If you're seeing that a smaller child is having difficulty with a full length of a session, then perhaps there should be consideration to shorten the length of the session temporarily. While I am considering that, I'm also aware that many children are feeling a lot of anxiety right now. And so I'm mindful of that with my clients, that I'm not going to jump into a impulsive, quick decision-making change like that without some careful consideration of what the child really needs. What's happening? What am I seeing in the session? Is the child finished at 30 minutes, or are they feeling some anxiety because they're not in my office? It could be a mixture of both. But until I feel peaceful about it and have spoken with the parent about that adjustment temporarily and made that very clear that this is a temporary adjustment while we're in transition, I'm not going to make a big decision like that without being very clear that that is in the best interest of my client. Another solution, if you see that the child is having difficulty focusing, is having the parent come in for a portion of the session or for the whole session. Again, I am psychodynamic, non-directive, so I let the child make that decision. If the child wants mom or dad in the room, then we talk about that. What's that going to be like? And if that's what they are asking for, that we're going to make a plan to do that. We're not going to just do it in the middle of the session, again, being mindful that they're feeling a lot of anxiety and a lot of feelings. And so containment is key. I don't make rash decisions in the middle of a session because a child is feeling uncomfortable. I reflect what I'm seeing. It seems like you're uncomfortable with this new change that we're looking at each other on a screen instead of in person. These reflections allow the child to be seen, heard, and understood. And then we talk about what are some other ideas that maybe make this session better for you. And I have the child come up with some ideas. If the child can't come up with ideas, I may say, would you like to invite mom to come in for the last 15 minutes? What would that be like? And I ask the child that so that they can think about it. And maybe we make a plan to try it once to see if it's helpful for the child or if it's more disruptive. If it's more disruptive, then we'll talk about that and make the change. When I'm in a virtual session, I'm definitely not sitting on a stool in front of my toys, as the child isn't used to seeing me like that. They're used to interacting and playing with me. So I set up the camera on the floor. I've actually used my computer as opposed to my iPad because it can stand better. I can position the computer whichever way the camera angle gets the best view of the room. And that way the child can pick from the games that they are used to seeing, and the puppets and the sand tray and all the different things that they're used to seeing. And they can see me sitting on the floor, which is where they're used to seeing me, or see me sitting at the table. It's a great time for puppet play. Puppet play can be used as a projective play for the child to work through some of their feelings they're having during this transition. You can either be the voice of the puppet, or they can be the voice of the puppet and tell you what to do. One idea I had is to have a puppet that has a face mask on and see what that brings up for the child. Now that they've been seeing that, that may be an opportunity for them to process some of their feelings. I also encourage you to use the tools that you have seen have worked well with your client to bring them into the virtual session. If your client does well with seeing the emoji balls with different feelings, you can use those at this time. Many children don't know what to say and don't want to talk right now because they're having a lot of feelings. A lot of children feel worried right now. Some children are protesting even their own therapy sessions. If you have a chart, a feeling chart that you've used, a feeling thermometer that you've used, I use the Managing Your Anger chart so that they can see what's behind their feelings. I let them use the tools that they know are in this office. Children have directed me to get the Legos out, and I build, while they get the Legos out they have in their room, and they build. Or even simply Play-Doh. I play with Play-Doh while they play with Play-Doh. And I reflect what I see, and we share. And it's an experience. It's a therapeutic experience. So for board games, interactive games, you can just sit on the floor next to your table, set up your computer or iPhone or whatever you're using, and make sure that the table is covered well in the shot. We can play Sorry. His turn to go 2. My turn to go 3. And that's how you do a board game virtually. I hope you found this tutorial helpful for providing virtual play therapy for your clients. My name is Allison Hodge, licensed marriage and family therapist with Help From Him Christian Counseling. Please consider subscribing to my YouTube channel by clicking the red subscribe button below. You can also post comments if you like. Take care and stay safe.